What's going on, guys? This is Lee Van Dam here, and I had to get in touch with you because I just took a peek at the patch notes that Blizzard gave us for the preview of 2.4.0, and all I can say is, wow, they are really putting in some work. Man, well, there's a lot to cover, so I want to go ahead and get started, get through it as quick as I can, and then go ahead and give you my thoughts as well. So, let's do it. So they started off by telling us that we're going to get a new zone in adventure mode. It's called Grey Hollow Island. They didn't give us much to go on, but just saying there was an expansion to adventure mode, which I think is awesome. And they said that, you know, it's going to be really ominous, really mysterious. Even the land is after our blood, so that's crazy. But I'm hoping that with these zones opening up in adventure mode, eventually it'll set up other storylines for story mode once we have enough zones introduced in the game. So that's really cool. They're also going to expand on a few areas. So they talked about Eternal Woods, which they said is going to be an undead infested boreal forest that lies just before the ruins of Seshron. That's really cool because, you know, now they're going to kind of come in backwards from the ruins of Seshron to give us more stuff. I'm really wondering how much of this infestation was created from the destruction of the World Stone in Diablo 2. But, you know, maybe the new events and the bounties they're talking about is going to explain it more to us. So that'll be cool. I'm really excited that they're going to let us delve deeper into Leoric's Manor. So getting into the royal quarters is going to be awesome. I'm always really interested into how many things could tie into story events that may have happened in Tristram during the very first Diablo game. Now, I know New Tristram is not built upon the old city, but, you know, with the old Tristram being nearby. But wouldn't it be great to find out a lot of the backstory going on in Leoric's journal while we're in, you know, the royal quarters? I'd love to hear more about his point of view about how the kingdom just kind of went south, you know. Well, you know, before he got crazy, before he went certifiable. But you know, that seems like it's going to be really awesome. Next big bomb they dropped on us after the zones, when you read it, is the revamped set items. Now, they've been revamping sets and legendary gear almost every patch just to give us more variety and more power. And you know, I'm really thankful that the dev team is putting so much effort into, you know, the legendaries and getting the variety to us. In this patch, they said they've worked on every single class set in the game. That seems like an enormous undertaking, and so I don't know how they're going to balance them all, or if they're just looking to make them all super broke, and then it's just balanced that way. I don't know, but I guess as long as they put out enough sets to where you can kind of create the vision you want your build to have, how your build's supposed to play, I guess balance really doesn't matter until it gets crazy on the leaderboards, right? Okay, well, they gave us some samples, so I'm going to put up the pictures while we talk about it. And so the first one is going to be Thorns of the Invoker. I'll tell you, I really like how much more dragon-like this looks with the thorns and the really sharp protrusions going off the shoulders and the helmet and everything. And the powers are pretty crazy, so I want to talk about them real quick. So the two-piece power, you know, the thorns hit all enemies in a 15-yard radius. That's cool. That was on the old one. Each time you hit an enemy with punish, slash, or block an attack, your thorns is increased by 50% for 2 seconds. So that's pretty cool. You know, that tips us off that Crusaders are going to really benefit from it well. Sword and Board Barbarians, they can really do something with this too, because they can still get the bonus from blocking attacks. And, you know, they've got that passive, I think it's called Tough as Nails, where it increases their thorn damage also. So they can still benefit from the two-piece power. Four-piece power is crazy because it says you take 50% less damage for 8 seconds after casting Bombardment. Now, since they have a belt that's not Crusader specific and it casts Bombardment every 6 seconds, I definitely know they're going to have to look into this, because otherwise you just have permanent damage reduction, which we know that's not what they're intending for. So hopefully they'll just make the belt not cast as often instead of changing the actual power on the set. Because even since everybody can benefit from it, even if they make it cast like 12 seconds instead of 6, then you're still getting a great deal as a Crusader, because bombardment without cooldown reduction is like every 60 seconds. So you're still getting an awesome deal being able to cast it 80% faster through this belt. And everybody else can still take advantage of the 4-piece that way too with that belt. They just have to have a Crusader farm it for them, and then you can put it on your alt. So that's cool. 6-piece power. The attack speed of Punish and Slash is increased by 50%, and it deals 600% of your Thorns damage to the first enemy hit. That really looks like it's going to be cool for single target damage, especially since they're specifying it's going to be the first enemy hit. So, I mean, that's pretty sick. And I don't know if it's going to be on par with Roland's, but you've already got stuff like Hack, you know, which also increases your Thorn damage. So you can build around this set now and make Thorns a priority. And, you know, you can see how far you can go with, which I think is really cool. The other one that they gave us pictures for is Shadow's Mantle. First off, anything that makes you look like an assassin, I love it. I mean, this one looks tight, and it being looks like you're just cloaked in black and ready to gut someone, it's too real, too real. So 2-piece power, loved it, because while equipped with a melee weapon, all damage increased by 1000%. I wonder if they're going to make like melee animations for some of these skills, because they do, and you can make a melee demon hunter, and you can have a sword in one hand, and you can have that one-handed crossbow in the other, like some Devil May Cry stuff, or you just go straight two-hander. That'd be so insane. I'm so hoping that happens. 4-piece power. Shadow power gains the effect of every rune, lasts forever. We know Shadow Power's got that lifesteal on it, and so with all the other runes, I'm not familiar with them, but I know the lifesteal is there, and so that will definitely help keep you alive if it has all the runes active while you're in melee. So that looks like it sets it up really well. The 6-piece power, you know, Impale deals an additional 40,000% weapon damage to the first enemy hit. It sounds really cool because it definitely just makes you feel like you're gonna just assassinate the first one. It's like beef sneak attack. It's, you know, everything you get just. I hope they rework it and maybe you get to deal this damage after you hide or something like that. But you know, there's so many mobs when you're out in the world, it really doesn't matter. For single target damage, I hope they make it something where you're able to keep it in check versus bosses, because that really looks like that would murder bosses at mid-level. High level, I'm sure they have enough hit points to where it doesn't matter, but you really would wreck shop when you're at that mid-level farming area just with this, and everybody will have a pocket melee demon hunter just for those kind of runs. They also are reworking all the jewelry sets, which is cool, because you know, some of the jewelry sets like Focus and Restraint are awesome. Others like, you know, Legacy of Nightmares, which I'm showing the picture with the new power, but right now it's kind of lame. I mean, you get a skeleton and you get Magic Find, which Magic Find's not really that great anyways. Now it's worthless. So I'm happy they're going to retool all the jewelry sets, so that way we've got a reason to try and use them again. Traveler's Pledge, I love the crit damage on it, but you were just sacrificing too much, even though you could get some really legit crit damage. And for stuff like Broken Promises, the Traveler's Pledge, you know, that whole set was crazy. You know, the jewelry sets, they drop all the time, so hopefully the retooling is going to make them ready for us to use in-game, because that's all we're, you know, mid-game is cool, you can do whatever you want, but in-game we really want to make sure we have more of a variety, so I'm happy they're looking into it. Next thing on the agenda are the set dungeons, and when I read about this, I could not help but scream at how awesome this was. So insane. So what they're talking about, the way this is going to work, is when you complete a set and you wear all pieces of the class set, you're going to get a clue to be able to find the dungeon that's designed to challenge that set. Now the dungeons are going to be static, they're not going to be randomized, and the dungeons are going to be built in a way to where you have to use your set's powers to overcome the dungeon. That is so great. Especially if you need kind of a tutorial on how the new set works. You know, this dungeon is going to be one of those things that by the time you finish, you'll have good working knowledge of the set. I think that's an amazing, amazing idea. And, you know, you get a cosmetic reward to show people that you've mastered the set dungeon. And then they've also alluded to completing all the class sets, maybe getting you something. And if you could do all 24, hey, maybe something else in it for you. So I can't wait to see what Blizzard comes up with for that. Next on the list was the empowered Riffs. I really like this idea. You know, you spend some of the gold that outside of enchanting stuff really doesn't have that much use. I mean, you make gems and you enchant right now, and you don't spend gold as much as you make it. I've got an insane amount of gold, and I'm not even like high level. I've got a billion already. Anyway, so you can spend this gold now in order to increase the number of legendary gem upgrade attempts you get, so that way you get 4 every greater Rift run instead of 3. I mean, that boost alone is going to cut down your leveling time, so I think it's an awesome money sink, and I think it's great. Really, really nice. You know, they're going to be working on regular legendaries outside the sets. They've already planned to add more than 40 new legendary powers this patch. So that's cool because, you know, some of the powerless legendaries, I'm sure they're going to bring them up to code and make them interesting. And that always means you get more variety. And you get all kind of crazy builds once they bring the new stuff in. The revised UI to where you see the buffs right above the skill button itself. I think that's cool. I think it's going to really clean things up because then you'll only have to look at the temporary buffs being the squares that pop up all the time. So that way they'll catch your attention much easier, especially like your peripheral vision. So you're like, okay, peripheral vision. So that way you're like, okay, I see the square go away, so I know I got to recast something instead of it being, you know, something that's over your skill or, you know, whatnot. They've promised more stash space. I know I'm not the only one that needs more stash space, so I'm real excited to see that. The stash space, you know, you're going to be able to get it on both PC and PlayStation 4 in whatever way it works. As I said, it works differently on the console. But I'm excited because you get the slot that you can purchase with gold, and then you get other tabs that we can earn through Season Journey. And I like Season Journey. I'm cool with that because I've had a lot of fun with it right now, getting all the new portraits. And so that's a great way for me to play the game and get extra space because I sure need it. And it's really awesome they thought about us with this. Okay. We got lots of changes in how the Season Journey is going to work. Speaking of Season Journey, first off, they're doing away with the seasonal legendaries. So everybody's going to have access to the new legendaries at the same time. That's cool. You know, I really like the idea at the beginning that you'll have exclusive access to the legendaries when the season came about. But the more I've played the seasons, the more I've thought about it, like, well, what if you got that cat that really likes their character, and so they don't want to make another character, or they just want to get it as great as possible. And the problem is when the new builds come out and they're with the seasonal legendaries, you gotta wait months before you can try them out if you don't want to play season, and it's kind of lame. So I'm glad this is going to keep them in the game, and I think it's really awesome because then, you know, they get to keep playing. Now they said that we're still going to get season rewards. And so they said that if you were to complete the first 4 chapters of the Season Journey, you'll be guaranteed a 6-piece class set. Now that's awesome because even if you've been farming and you just haven't been lucky, you know you're going to get a class set so you can just jump into a build. I mean, that's a straight up power boost like...
It's over 9,000!
Appreciate it, Vegeta. Yep, that's a power level boost right there. Also, the season rebirth feature, you know, with you being able to use the character you love in the season, I think that's really cool, so that way you don't have to keep making a stable. What it's going to do is going to reduce your character down to level 1, strips you of your gear. Now, you don't have to worry about your gear because any gear that you lose from this is just going to be mailed to you when the season's over. So, you know, you don't have to worry about anything disappearing. Yeah, if you're attached to a character, you like that character's name and you want to see them keep going, it's a really great way to play it again and again, because even during the season while you're leveling up, you're still going to keep your hours, so you're going to have a real sense of how long you've been playing this character as they go through the season. So I think that's really tight. Last but not least, they mentioned that the PC is going to be getting the action combat bonuses, so lots of stuff is going to change to where instead of always just getting experience whenever we destroy things, or whenever we set off traps, or whenever we kill a bunch of mobs and get the massacre bonus, we're going to need different buffs. And so I like that. That's going to be really cool, and that's going to help us be a little bit more creative in figuring out what we want to do. So we'll get rewarded for it, and even without shrines, we'll have a way to boost stuff up, you know, even without hitting the shrines or the pylons. So I think that's really cool too, especially since, you know, the console's already had it. Makes it more arcadey, makes it a lot more fun. So, like I said, all in all, this is gonna be, you know, this isn't all the notes, but this patch is gonna be a monster. And I, for one, can't wait to get on the PTR. And so when they announce it, I'm gonna run through it, and I can't wait to see how everything plays out, because this looks like it's gonna be amazing. I'm real excited. But what are your thoughts on all the patch notes? You know, I might have a link to the notes below in the description, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. Let's discuss it. You know, let's talk about it. And you know, more than anything else, I appreciate you coming by and, you know, hanging out with me while I talk about the news as I was able to get a hold of it. But you know, that's something where I'm gonna just keep tabs on this. I'll be definitely playing and giving my thoughts about how that's going. I'll be working on builds, because that's been a lot of fun. It's gotten really good feedback as far as the builds are concerned. So I'm going to keep that up and just kind of delve deeper in Diablo 3, since, you know, I've been able, a lot of people have liked that. So that's really cool. But, you know, again, you know, I appreciate you guys stopping by. You know, until next time, be sure to like the video if you like it. Sure to subscribe, because, you know, I post out content really often, multiple times per week, and you know, I really just want to continue to grow, and I appreciate all the support I've gotten so far. And you know, until next time, everybody, this is Lee Van Dam, and you guys take care, and God bless.